given that all things work together for the greater good, and your mind training is part and parcel of the all things that you'll be participating in as the idea of transformation or purification of the mind, it's helpful to bring the mind back to practical concerns, even though we're always emphasizing the spiritual and the celestial parts of allowing the mind to expand, I guess, into a greater awareness of the purpose of mind training and the purpose of your participation in your own process. But it's the participation in the process on a very grounded and practical level that helps you to see what it is that's occurring in your thinking as an idea of not allowing yourself to fall into a lull of false humility or false certainty about where you find yourself. So, which is very easy to do because the ego's very slippery little character, even though it doesn't exist. I know we'll get to all that. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as the ego. I'm not here making a video, and that's a point that or a place in your mind, a point of awareness that you get to because you've had an experience that shows you that. Right? Now, the idea that you could perhaps after reading some spiritual scriptures and doing A Course in Miracles, you could easily look at this video and say, oh, well, this is all done for me now because I know that there is no world conceptually, or I've read the book and I know what it says. That's one thing. The practical application of the principles that the book embodies and spiritual texts embody is a whole nother thing. So having it in mind as an idea or an awareness of your purpose and the greater picture, the bigger picture, is good and necessary. Otherwise, you're not going to become vigilant enough to realize when you're deceiving yourself about where it is you think you're at with your own process. And there has been many times and I'm always glad to see that I'm a failure or a fraud or a fake or a phony, because that's the nature of the beast anyway. I'm always realizing in a certain sense I don't exist, or that I'm not a real thing. I'm not a real boy. Pinocchio. And the process of, hello, here's my friend again. The process of coming to that place of penitence, that place of surrender, is only by that road. Hello. I've got nothing for you, I'm afraid. Here, let me look. I'll show you my little friend here. And his offspring over there. They're lovely birds. Beautiful song they have. So in a practical nature, thank you. In a practical way then, in this video, I thought it would be good to try and put into practice the principles that are expounded through the Course very simply in a little one-to-one, and you can do this with me in this video. And it's something I often like to do in Zoom meetings, and depending upon how willing you are to be honest about where you find yourself in your own association, in your own consciousness with your own temporal association, will depend upon the result that you get. And it's basically a moment of honesty that's required. So in the interests of finding that honesty, in the interest of being willing to find or willing to sit in a place of defenselessness, which will open you to the honesty of your own efforts. They're ganging up on me now. I'm going to invite you to simply close your eyes for a second whilst you listen to this video. Close your eyes now. Take a few deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the top of your head. Don't think about it, just do it. In through your nose, out through the top of your head. You have to use a little creative visualization here. All right, so a few breaths, and just remind yourself first what your purpose is. My purpose is healing. My purpose is forgiveness. My purpose is atonement. It's all the same thing, but all these facets that embody your purpose are all part and parcel of what it is that you're learning to master as you go through the transformation of your mind, what it is that you're learning to take on board as tools for self-discovery as you master the presence and the honesty in your mind and marry that up with the passion of the heart. I always poke at my chest when I talk about the heart, but it's not really. The heart is just as much a part of the mind as anything else. It's not the organ in the body, it's the passion, and that comes through the decision of the mind to feel a certain way about something. So in feeling a certain way about wanting to be honest about my purpose, I want to be passionate about that, and I don't want to allow the dross of the world and the dross of familiarity, because I've read a lot of spiritual books or I've been to a lot of meditation groups. I don't want to allow that familiarity to sort of dumb down my passion. Passion is important to the nth degree. And to that regard, I want to feel how it is that I have this relationship with the idea of healing. I want to heal and be healed. It's like it's in me. To want that which is in alignment with your higher purpose isn't really to want anything at all. It's more to fall into a place of cooperation with it and to allow yourself to be useful to it. So closing the eyes, keeping the eyes closed, taking a few deep breaths and remembering that I do have a true purpose on this earth. Ready? And remind yourself with that. I do have a true purpose on the earth. I have a true purpose. I have a reason for being here that is above and beyond anything that I'm aware of. I call it healing, but truly I don't really know what that entails. I call it being miracle-minded, but I don't really know what that means. Right? And in that, I can safely entrust what it means to God, to Jesus, to the Holy Spirit, and for me to be able to just simply let go of trying to figure it out. All right? Keeping my eyes closed then, let me be honest in looking at my state of mind today. And this is like a little review. And for me here in Australia, it's towards the end of the day. And it's often very helpful and very nice in retrospect to just look back for a second upon the day and see where it is that I think my peace of mind was disturbed. And perhaps I just ignored it at the time rather than stop for a moment to deal with it. Perhaps I told myself a spiritual story about, oh yes, it doesn't matter, it's not really real. It's just the matrix, just the illusion, just the dream, I'll let that go. And that's fine, but did you really let it go? Was there an honesty there? And these are like little self-checks that we can do. It's like, no, it's still there. It's still bugging the shit out of me if I'm honest about it. Right? And I look at that with everything. Most things throughout the day, they're easy to just let go of. And as you become more compliant or more in alignment with your process of letting go, of forgiving and everything else like that, it does get easier. But I have a lot of people on my channel now who are kind of new to this process, and it's helpful to review the basics and to keep things at a practical level. So it's like, am I being honest? Did that person upset my peace of mind? Did I upset, and this is where you flip it over, did I upset my peace of mind by my judgments about what I think that person did or didn't do, or say or didn't say, etc., etc.? Breathe, keeping eyes closed. Now look at that person. Look at that person, that situation, whatever it is. These birds that seem to be distracting me with their beautiful singing. Thank you. Oh, you're all coming. Got a whole little gathering of them here now, attending my video. It's half a dozen. So look at that situation, that person, that event, with your eyes closed and be honest about it. Is it the same as any other person's situation and event throughout the day, or does it have a more specific meaning to me? And if it does, am I willing to let it go? Am I willing to return my mind to peace, or is there part of me that still wants to be right about something rather than happy about something? You know, or rather than happy, full stop. Not about something. Because it's always a choice between being right or being happy, being validated or just being happy for no reason whatsoever. Breathe. Look at the situation. Am I going to allow this situation, person or event to deter me from my pursuit of my purpose, my true purpose, and return me back into the world of cause and effect? Or am I going to use this situation, person, or event to my advantage? It's happened. I can't rewind the clock and pretend it didn't happen. It's happened. What do I want to do with it? It's always going to be a choice. Let me choose again. Let me choose again what I want to do with this. I'm going to offer it to the Holy Spirit for the healing of my mind, because I realize that this particular person, situation, or event is part of a scenario that I manifested as part of my old script of denial, so that I could validate myself as the body, as the form, as the vessel, rather than realize that I am the spirit and that the vessel is simply now given to my new purpose, the vehicle for my experience here. Right? In that, I take another step into becoming in the world but not of it, above the battlefield. And you really have to decide, how important is inner peace for me? How important is it? Have I really seen the world for what it offers? Have I really seen through the charade of options? There really are no options where every alternative ends in death. And you'll say to me, yes, but there is no death. And that's fine. You're welcome to argue, and you're welcome to put your point across, and you're welcome to say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's like, are you experienced? Have you transcended the world in your own experience of it, in your own mind, to the satisfaction of your own witness to the idea that there is no death, to the fact of the matter that there is no death? Or is it still just a concept? Because salvation is freedom from concepts. You have to have the experience, and keeping it at a practical level, being honest about where it is you find yourself, rather than defending yourself with a concept, which is a big trap, right? Rather than defending yourself with a concept, oh, there's no world, it doesn't matter, right? It's not me, it's you. You're looking at your mirror. It's like, no. Everything. There is nothing separate. Right? I'm not separate from anything. So I keep this, and this video is my declaration. I keep this finger on the end of this nose, and I apply the principle to myself, even if I doubt, even if I'm not sure whether my peace of mind was disturbed by whatever I think it was. If I even have to question it, it was disturbed. If I even have to raise it to question, if there's even something there to look at, my peace of mind was disturbed. Do the work. Right? Do the work. Don't spiritually bypass. That's the thing people call it these days. In my day, it was just deny. Don't deny it with a concept. Just do the work. Right? So And it's like we all make the same mistakes. We all defend ourselves with concepts, and I say we all in a dualistic way because it's the only way to make this relatable. Just as Jesus used parables to try and make it relatable to the people of his time, he also kept his finger on his nose, knowing that what he taught to the masses had to be applicable to him as well. He had to be the highest example of what it is that he was teaching, and keep that vibrational resonance, that miracle-minded resonance at its zenith, at its pinnacle, at its flashpoint. I don't know how to talk about that, but I've seen miracles through my hands by the power of God and the grace of God. I've seen stuff occur in and around me when I don't compromise this and refuse to take my finger off my nose. And it's as simple as that. Here and now. Here and now. Right here, right now. Now, if I look at the picture in my mind of what it is I think occurred today, right here and right now, I'm totally responsible for it. It's part of my old story. The Holy Spirit has an alternative story, an alternative use for my upset mind, for my old attempt to validate myself erroneously. Luckily, I had no better idea about it. Luckily, I get to realize I don't exist as this thing. I don't exist as this Dave, as this narrator of a story, of an idea of salvation, an idea of atonement. But for a moment, it's useful. For a moment, it's helpful in this constancy of coming to the realization, this constancy of returning my finger to my nose, where I can remember there's no such thing as a Dave. God is everything. I'm part of a whole. I'm one with all things, even in this world, right? And when Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, the opposite of life is not death, it's another form of life. That's a beautiful way to look at this world. It's a beautiful way to look at this temporary experience and just appreciate and enjoy, even in the throes of transformation where we're giving it up, where I'm giving it up, how actually nice it is, how beautiful it is, and how amazing it is, and how goddamn mind-blowing that even like, look, what the hell is this? I stopped asking actually what the hell it is long ago, and I just sort of sit here some days in wonder of this crispy, crinkly leaf that I call a leaf, but really it's just this crispy, crinkly idea in my mind of something that is impossible, can't possibly exist. And yet, the angels are in awe of man, because man has this incredible experience and can come to know God through the experience, which angels cannot have. It's like, really, when you see where you are and what's being presented and what's being offered as an idea of the illumination of the mind as the greatest gift in all creation, to come to know one's true self, one's creative source, and the realization of the relationship within that as part of it, the whole and the whole itself. And it's really mind-blowing. I wish I could just reach in here and just anyway, the point of this video is to keep things practical, to keep things honest, to keep things at a level where it's happening. Forgiveness has to be applied where it seems to be, in the time frame and in the experience that it seems to be being presented at, and in the place where it seems to be occurring, which is in here, in the mind, not in my head. I don't know how to talk about mind. Let's just say it's in my head for argument's sake. The receptive faculty that analyzes it is in the head, or seems to be in the head, but we're talking mind as a whole here. All right, I love you and thank you. Somebody chipped in, I forget their name, but somebody chipped in $100 to our little cause to print the books the other day. That's awesome. The more money we get, the more books we can print, and the more books we can print, the more people we can send them out to. And like, you know, ideas are increased by sharing. The last printing of little books, we got 10,000 printed, and it took us about 10 years to really distribute all those, which was surprisingly slow, I thought, given that I was sending out whole cartons of books to different countries and states within Australia, New Zealand, America, Europe, etc. This time I think we're going to stick to around 3,000. They'll mainly go to America. I might organise for about 500 to come here to Australia. We're a very small population really, but majority of my viewers seem to be in America. Maybe we'll just dump the whole lot in America. If that's the will of God, so be it. Thank you to everyone who's contributing. Tina thanks you. I know she's terribly grateful. She loves being involved in this whole thing. It makes it real for her and gives her this kind of connection with you guys, which in reciprocity, let's say it's not really a reciprocity, it's more of a in relationship, is a win-win. It's beneficial. You know, it's like her relationship with you and your relationship with her is beneficial. I know I seem to figurehead it somewhat with these videos, but you'd be surprised what goes on behind the scenes, or maybe you wouldn't. It's like she's in the midst of, let's say, the early years of her transformation and working it out just as you guys are and just as I am. And it's incredibly helpful to have people, associations around you and interacting with you in that regard, you know, where you're making your mistakes together, you're forgetting things together, and you're getting it right together. You're having those little miraculous moments and those holy instants together. You know, that's what I love about this. It works because it's collaborative. It works because people come together to do it. And I often used to have my doubts, I guess, about doing stuff online because it seems so impersonal. I'm just sitting here talking into a camera. But when I get the comments, when I see the comments of how helpful that these videos are being to people, it's like, cool. Because that's the only reason I'm here, is to be helpful. Otherwise, I could just disappear into the light and, you know. Peace to you all. Peace. Set your goal as peace. Remember that. Set your goal as peace and remember that you set the goal. Set your goal as peace and remember that you've set the goal. Whatever shows up in the day to disturb your peace of mind, to drag you back out into the world, awesome, great, terrific. That's what you want, okay? Be honest about it. Don't try to be all spiritual and aloof and pretend that you're not upset. Be fucking honest. No, I'm bloody well pissed off. This stupid dream, this stupid world. Get in there and dig into that grievance, dig into that upset, you know? Be honest about it and let it take you for the ride to the depths that it needs to take you to, so you can offer a 10-pound prayer from the heart for a 10-pound problem. Peace.